The next game we are going to be presenting you guys is Leeu versus Gas. This is the, what do you want to call it? The winner bracket semi-final, I think is the technical term for this.
Well, I think this is just a winner bracket final, and the winner advances on to the grand final. It's kind of like the semi-final, but really it's bigger than that because whoever wins goes into the goes into the grand final with a winner bracket advantage, meaning that they would need to lose twice in order to lose overall. So I think it's a pretty big game. This is really important, and winning this can really set you up with a very good chance of taking home the title.
Yeah, exactly. Just so again everybody sees, Leeu will be at the bottom of the screen, Gas will be at the top. Both players have actually got the exact same decks, which is actually something we were speaking about now just before we were going live. Gas and Leeu have both got Warrior, Warlock, and Hunter with their Shamans being banned. So very interesting, I must say.
Yeah, we see very similar lineups here, kind of like close to what you would have called like Brokeback of yesteryear, in that, except the only slight differences are that Liu's Hunter is more mid-range Hunter with only really 2 traps in it, and Gas is playing a more secret-heavy list. And the Warlocks are sort of the 2 different archetypes of Warlock that you can play at the moment. We saw earlier Liu's Warlock with Leroy for that like massive burst against Selfmord. He's also got the Sea Giants and more the classic Zoo list, whereas Gas has the Discard Zoo with the Doom Guards and the Silverware Golems that we saw earlier. I believe it was him that had that disgusting turn with the double Silverware Golem from the Doom Guard.
That's exactly what happened.
We've seen some disgusting Zoo turns from both of these players so far.
We've seen the triple power overwhelming. We've also seen the Doom Guard for the double Silverware Golem, which was, both of those absolutely, really disgusting and broke back. So
yeah, so we're going into the first game here.
Yeah.
They're also both playing Dragon Warrior. So Q order is really important in this matchup because they both banned each other's Shamans.
Yeah.
So queuing this Dragon Warrior into the Warlock is really important. They always want to ideally queue the Warlock into the Hunter. So queuing the Warlock first from Leeu is quite a risk. I think I would have liked to see both of them just queue either Hunter or Warrior first. I think the Warlock is the one you want to save. And we see Leeu is going to be a bit punished here. Alexstras's champion here is pretty good. You can clear off the Flame Imp with the Nzas First Mate and the weapon and just set up the Alexstras's champion as sort of a 3-2 versus the 1-1, which is not bad.
Yeah, exactly. So, you could just go face.
Yeah.
Which is
I don't mind pushing face.
I have no problem with it either. I feel it's actually
The Acidic Swamp Ooze is nice. It makes it much more difficult for him to deal with this 1-1. Certainly the way he was planning on dealing with it was Ravage and Ghoul plus the weapon. The one nice thing about going face last turn from Gas was that he's setting up a situation where he can kind of race his opponent because his opponent's going to have to tap to keep up with the value of the average Dragon minion cards, Dragon Warrior minions, yeah. So here it's also another consideration. I really wouldn't sort of hate just going face again with both. It's quite awkward trading into the 3-2, and if you just leave it as the 3-3 versus the 1-1, then he's probably just going to get like a Abusive Sergeant or some kind of synergy. So I really like going face with both of these. He's putting Leeu under quite a lot of pressure, and now Leeu is going to be much more reluctant to tap. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I think, Gas is just deciding, let's just push face. I mean, he's doing, looks like it's going to actually be paying off. I mean, 18 already,
Yeah, okay, so from Leeu here, I do not like this Direwolf Alpha. I believe that he should have played the Dark Peddler. The Dark Peddler could have got him Abusive Sergeant, could have got him Power Overwhelming, which were both better than using the Soulfire here, which is probably what he's going to have to use based on his plays. So I really think that's a mistake from Leeu. I don't think he's optimizing his sort of best chances of dealing with this board.
Exactly.
Whereas now he just trades in the 2-1, and now the 3-1 trades against his 2-2, and it's just pretty awkward. And the Twilight Guardian here is huge as well.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Dweller Guardian
and
coming down. I mean, this is just... I was thinking to even trade. I would have just continued doing this push fiesta.
no, I think you definitely trade there. You don't want to allow him easy trades into your 3/6. A 3/6 minion is really difficult for Leeu to deal with, and you don't need to sort of win like soon. By pushing face earlier, all he did was he reduced the amount of times his opponent can tap. So he reduced his opponent's access to resources, which is pretty important. But he doesn't need to sort of push face and win really quickly. He just needs to make sure the board doesn't get out of control. And the 3/6 is really good at contesting this board.
Azure Drake coming down. I don't know. I feel like I would have liked to see the Ravaging Ghoul there.
So there was an argument for the Ravaging Ghoul. The one, the question with the Ravaging Ghoul is like, what do you hit with a 3/6? You might go face with it, but really just fitting in 2 damage, I mean the hero power for the 2 really doesn't feel good. So I really don't mind the Azure Drake. The other argument could have been for the Corcoran Elite to trade into the 1/1 or something, and then trade the 3/4 into the 2/2, or the other way around.
Yeah.
Which would have made it pretty awkward for your opponent. He would have needed the PO again, which he clearly doesn't have in hand, or he would have used it earlier.
Yeah, most definitely. Just trying to see if there's any further updates. Yeah, we've got the slider Pandemonium. We're still waiting to find out what happened with the Bloodsloth self-mode game. Again, Dib, I don't know if you, with the powers that may be, if you do not have some information.
I'll check, but for now, I think, like, yeah, we'll see after this game. But
Leeu, unfortunately, having to use some of his bursts to actually clear and get rid of some of this board, and I already think that puts the Zulok at such a disadvantage.
I really just don't like this. I really do not like the way Leeu has played this Zoo. I feel like early on that choice not to play the Peddler really punished him. Like he could have got dead from the Peddler, but he also could have, there's a lot of things he could have got which could have changed this game a lot. And Zoo is really a very snowball-y deck. Both you want to snowball, and any mistakes you make also really snowball. And I feel like that is definitely what's happened here for Gas. I also don't agree with Liu's queuing strategy, as I mentioned earlier. I think that it's made him very vulnerable to this Dragon Warrior. But Gas made a really smart decision to open with the Dragon Warrior. It's pretty good in all the matchups, the worst obviously being the Hunter. So there was an argument to maybe queue the Hunter, but Warlock was really just the worst to queue in my opinion. And now I think Leeu is going to be really on the back foot. He will probably queue his Hunter next, because it's pretty good against the Warrior, which is maybe why he didn't want to queue it initially. And then if he wins that, he's going to have to win versus the Warlock with his Hunter, which is going to be tricky. And then otherwise he'll have to, like, he's really going to rely on his Dragon Warrior, I think. That's the deck now that needs to get 2 wins for Leeu. Because I don't believe he'll get 2 with the Warlock, because he's going to get countered by the Warrior. I mean, countered by the his opponent's Warlock, probably.
Yeah.
Or he has to play the Dragon Warrior now to try and beat his... Oh no, sorry, he's going to play the Hunter now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
he
so
hasn't got the Warlock.
everybody is also aware, basically the winner of this goes straight through to the grand final, guarantee themselves at least second, which means that is, I think, 4,500 rand. First prize being 6.5.
Yeah.
If my math was correct, and if I could just at least remember, then that is basically where we're going to be sitting at. So Leeu mulliganing his entire hand with the Hunter, and Gas, you know, he's actually sitting with a really nice, especially if he picks up a Dragon. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, Liu's like scenario here is that he's pretty favored in this matchup, but after this, it's going to be really tricky for him because he has no counter to his opponent's Hunter. So Gas can just play his Warlock. Gas will play his Warlock into the Warrior. I mean, into the Hunter, and then that should beat the Hunter. And then Leeu has only really got his Dragon Warrior left, which he then has to play against Gas, and Gas will still have his own Hunter. So it's gonna be pretty tricky for Leeu here. He's gonna need some really good Hunter RNG in the next game, I think.
Yeah.
This game he should be favored. I mean, we see actually a pretty awkward draw here for Gas. He doesn't really want a Ravaging Ghoul. He doesn't really want to trade both his minions. But I think he might trade both his minions and Ravaging Ghoul on an empty board.
Just for that 3/3 body.
Yeah. You need to contest the board against the Hunter if you want to have a chance to win. Um, Otherwise, he can go for the Sophinli, but it's quite slow to go for the Sophinli here. And really, next turn, it just leaves you with the Ravaging Ghoul. I mean, if he Sophinli's into...
Life tap?
No, no. I think what he wants is Fire Blast. If he Sophinli's into Fire Blast, then it's pretty good. I really do not like hero powering first. I do not feel the warrior hero power is going to win you this game. And I feel like you need to rather get a different hero power.
I like Shapeshift.
Shapeshift is okay. You probably pick it here, but I don't think that's what he was looking for. I think if he got the Fire Blast, he would have been able to keep his 1/1 alive or not take as much damage to face. So, I mean, by hero powering first, he was basically saying that he was going to always hit the 4/4 with his weapon.
Yeah.
But I think you could have conserved that. Not necessarily had to worry about that.
Yeah. All right. So having a look at Leeu's hand at the moment, he does have the Kindler Grandmother, but pretty weak considering the board there already.
Yeah, it just gets traded off.
Do you just use the Eaglehorn bow to trade off Sir Finley? I don't really see another play here. Everything else just seems really, really weak.
Yeah, the problem is if you kill Finley, you're not actually really making your board that much better for Kind of Grandmother the next turn because you have to kill the Nzasa first mate. Like this 1/1 is doing quite a lot of work here because with the new hero power for the warrior, you can kill the second half, the Big Bad Wolf from the Kind of Grandmother, pretty easily by just hero powering and using the 1 damage weapon. So for that reason, amongst others, I would like Gas not to attack there with his weapon, and he chooses not to. So it's a good decision there from him.
I think we're just going to see, board can be cleared here.
Yeah.
But again...
you might consider quick-shotting the 4/3. I don't mind it. What it does is it allows you to clear the 1/1 with your weapon, although it looks really weird. It protects your Big Bad Wolf, which is pretty important. Or at least you think it protects your Big Bad Wolf. Realistically, we know that the Ravaging Ghoul would have done the same job anyway. But I think it was still definitely something worth considering.
And I think, yeah, you also just play the Ravaging Ghoul either way. So by going face with the Nzoth first mate, playing the Ravaging Ghoul, killing off, and then using your Shapeshift to actually get rid of the Big Bad Wolf.
I think that you might actually just play a Zodrek here, or Twilight Guardian. I don't know if you really need to do the Ravaging Ghoul play here. He does know that Leeu has the Unleash of the Hounds on his deck, as well as the 1 Infested Wolf. So there are some better turns later for the Ravaging Ghoul. I think we saw earlier Gas was also, he held his Ravaging Ghoul quite a bit. I think that was him earlier. So yeah.
Yeah, it was him.
Keeping consistent there. And also, this is just sort of smoother on your mana curve. And both of these decks are really just about curving out well.
Yeah.
So I like that play. If your opponent wants to clear the Zurdrik now with their weapon, they're going all the way down to 14, which is pretty scary.
Yeah, it's very scary, especially considering that Leeu will know that Gas is running things like Rag and everything. And
he, at minimum, he has 5 damage on board with the 2 charges of the weapon and the hero power being 4 plus the 1/1. So at minimum, he has that on the board, even if you clear the 4/4.
Right, so we're going to see the Hellmaster come down onto the Big Bad Wolf.
Yeah, it's not that strong because the Zurdrik also trades straight into it, but in this case it's even better in that he has the Ravaging Ghoul plus the Blood Echo, and in that way he can trade off with the weapon and keep his 4/4 alive and rather just push face for 4, which I like a lot more. It generates a decent board, or yeah, okay, you can also go for this. doesn't damage his Drake, and now he can play Blood's Echo for 3. He gets a slightly stronger board, so he's getting a 4-4 instead of a 3-3 versus the Ravaging Ghoul play. So yeah, this is probably just much better.
Yeah.
And he can push face for 4. Really, he's putting the Hunter under pressure. Like this is Warrior showing Hunter how to be aggressive.
Learn to smoke is pretty much
Yeah.
what is happening here.
The
So
only problem with playing the Azure Drake last turn is that it doesn't allow the Twilight Guardian to have its better stats in a future turn unless you draw a dragon.
yeah, but you know, this puts Leeu in a little bit of an awkward position where he actually has to use Unleash the Hounds. Does he have
Yeah, he might use Unleash and trade down to the 2 health on the Azure Drake and then trade off the 4-3 into one of the other Azure Drakes. Maybe you just need to try stabilize and outvalue your opponent.
Yeah, at this stage,
Not sure.
I think as the hunter, if you want any
Okay.
chance of winning, you really need to basically start outvaluing.
I mean, we can see that that's definitely not going to work for him. And in fact, I believe Leeu just simply forgot that Houndmaster is not a beast there and kill commanded the Azure Drake, which doesn't actually kill it. Maybe he was trying to set up for the Unleash in the future turn, but we see that's not going to work. Oh, and okay, so maybe so he's trying to get Leeu to, trying to get Gas not to attack because of the explosive. Fair enough. I suppose it does kind of deal with it in that sense. And
Yeah,
then he has the Unleash follow-up. Yeah, okay. So it probably wasn't a mistake from Leeu. That was probably what he wanted.
yeah. So
Still risky, though.
still very, very, very risky actually.
I would have
Um,
actually just preferred to see Gas if he believes that it is an explosive trap attack. Like, he basically, Gas completely respected that that was an explosive trap when he could have just had a 4-6 on the board with his opponent having nothing if he just, didn't respect the explosive trap at all.
I think
I mean,
what's going to happen is that Gas is just going to end up trading.
yeah, he just trades and plays Rag. So he should really probably play Rag first. He needs to trade the 4-1 off before he kills the... I
Yeah.
think you trade the 4-1 into the 2-1. There's no reason to take the extra 1 damage to face, and this way you maximize the chance that the ping goes on the 2-2.
Yep. And there's 8 to face, and Leeu really. Oh,
Yeah, Leeu can deal with this Rag. He has the deadly shot, so he can clear the 2-1 off with the weapon, or he can just choose to 50-50 the deadly shot.
I don't think you can.
I think
I don't think you can really value the 50-50s at this point, where you are looking so low. But
I mean, we know that Gas has lethal anyway because the Fiery War Axe and the Shapeshift is 4 damage. So I actually think it doesn't really matter which way he does it there because he would have had lethal either way. But yeah, Gas getting a win in what was supposed to be an unfavorable matchup. So I think this is looking very, very good for Gas. His lineup now is heavily, heavily favored. Leeu only has the Dragon Warrior to play, and he is going to need to reverse sweep with his own Dragon Warrior.
it's going to be
Which
interesting
is
to see
something
what's
that's
happening.
possible, but I mean, we just saw the Dragon Warrior beat the Hunter, so that same could happen the other way around for Leeu. His Dragon Warrior could beat Gas's Hunter, but Gas just needs to win 1 game, and Leeu needs to win 3 now, so definitely it's looking good for Gas.
Oh, most definitely. It's definitely looking a lot better for Gas. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to just quickly have a look and see if... Okay, so Bloodsloth and Selfwood are busy playing at the moment. Whatever the score is, we're not 100% sure. But currently, getting back to the game that is more important here is that Leeu versus Gas. Gas is currently 2-0 up with Dragon Warrior. And he could just potentially just take this 3-0. Going into a mirror matchup, I mean, it's still easily possible for him to actually take 3-0 in this.
I wouldn't say easily possible, but there is a chance. The Hunter does counter the Warrior, but sometimes the Warrior can win, as we just saw, although I'm not sure Leeu I'm not sure if Gas's deck is as bad against the warrior as maybe Leeu's was. Leeu's was a bit better against sort of control warriors and a bit worse against the mid-range warriors or like dragon warriors that we see.
Yeah. Fire
Finley on
Blast?
turn 1. Against the dragon warrior, probably the fire blast. Totemic Call is an option, but almost purely for the taunt totem. Everything else is kind of weak, so you'd probably rather just take the fire blast.
I think
If this was against a control deck, reinforce would be worth considering.
Yeah.
But in this matchup, which is all about tempo and like getting value out of your cards, fire blast can really help a lot just to get that extra little bit of value.
Plus, if you want to think long run, it is an activator for Grom as well. So, if you
Yeah.
really want to think long term. So, choosing not to attack, which is interesting. Alex Strauss is generally going to come down and just deal 6 damage, pretty much.
I agree with the choice not to attack.
No,
Also
I fully
partly
agree
because he
as
has
well.
Frothing Berserker in his hand, so he knows he's going to definitely attack next turn after playing it. So he wants to maximize the damage that the Frothing Berserker is getting him.
Oh, it's a pity that execute does not cost 1 anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
So as it is now, he would have to. He could keep his 3-1-1-3 alive by pinging and coining execute. It's a bit weak though, so he might just play the Frothing because his opponent is going to have to deal damage somehow. So his opponent probably Frothings into his Frothing and then uses the War Axe to clear the Frothing.
Mhm.
But that's probably your like best hope, really.
yeah.
I mean, you could also play Frothing and then trade your 1-3 into his Frothing, which would set up the position where your Frothing at least kills his Frothing. Whereas now we're probably going to see. I would like to just see another Frothing played, and then using the Frothing into the Frothing, and then the War Axe. There is a lot of Frothing right now.
We are all frothing, and their blades are thirsty.
Yeah,
Knees
I
weak,
think
arms are heavy.
I think you got the wrong song here. But
Oh,
sure.
whoops. Okay, I thought I was gonna be what's his face?
Eminem.
Eminem. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm completely tongue-tied. There's been a lot of Hearthstone today.
So this works too, is that it clears the Murloc, but I mean he just sets himself in a position where Leeu only has to, I mean Gas only has to ping the 6-1. I mean pinging the 6-1 does turn your 5-4 into a 6-4, so it's not that good. He might consider executing and then playing War Axe into the 5-4. He does take a lot of damage by doing that, but he sets up for the ping next turn. His hand is just really awkward, Gas. Like this is definitely one of the ways he can lose this matchup. He just is not curving out. The sort of high-end options he has to try and win the value game against other mid-range and control decks is just really punishing him here.
Yeah, let's go. Let's backtrack a little bit to some of his plays. What about coining out the Azure Drake?
Yeah, you coin out the Azure Drake, you take 11 damage basically, because then he's not gonna trade into the Azure Drake, so he's gonna go face. The question here is whether he hits this turn or whether he just takes 6 damage and executes with hero power next turn. I mean that's an option at this stage.
Yeah. Because if he does attack, then I feel that he's taken unnecessary damage. Because if he does end up attacking it with his War Axe, he should have done that previous turn to execute. If he does execute it this turn, but obviously, but
I
with the
mean-
Corkron, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you can probably just Corkron into it. These Frothings have done a lot of work though, and the coin here is pretty good, and we see Fire Blast also mattering a lot. Basically buying him 5 HP in this case, because he otherwise would have only been able to clear the 5-4 next turn, and would have at least hit him twice, probably.
Yeah. Dragonhead Crusher just falling a little bit short of being activated, but I mean, right now,
Yeah.
considering how far you're ahead, I definitely feel that you might just want to play it just for the sole fact that it's just tempo.
I completely agree that he should have played the Draconoid Crusher there. It's just like so much better, and your opponent has showed that he's struggled to deal with everything that you have so far, and now you're giving him like a way to deal with your thing. I mean, he just has a way to deal with it on board in the War Axe and the Ping. So yeah, I think the Draconoid Crusher was much stronger there.
Are we're most likely going to, going to play on curve here with the Curator.
Yeah, you want to play Curator also before you draw your all of your things you could draw from it. So, before you draw your Sir Finley, which is probably the only Murloc on the deck, and your other Fierce Monkey.
Exactly. So, I think, yeah, you do definitely use your Drake to trade. You definitely need to ping and execute.
Yeah.
And then...
You can't afford to take more damage here.
No, of course not. At this
you're
stage...
probably going to hit face because this weapon is realistically never going on a minion at 13 HP with no armor up. So I think you can hit face and play in Zoth's first mate. It gets you like 3 more damage over the next 3 turns because your hero power, your weapon can go face every turn. I don't believe you're ever using that weapon on a minion anymore. Because you simply can't heal out of range of the stuff that the Dragon Warrior has now.
And I mean, Leeu is just also so far ahead.
Yeah. And now we do see the Draconoid Crusher being active. But because he waited, he's actually not going to get any damage out of this Draconoid Crusher because the Fairy Dragon can just trade in and he can execute. Or, if he chooses to go wide on the board here instead, then... this does help him against the Ragnaros. I think that might be what Leeu is trying to play around here. Going into Gas's turn 8, he's a little bit worried that if he just plays the 9-9, he will just trade the 3-3 into it and play Rag. And then if Rag clears the minion, Leeu is going to be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah. So now Gas has actually got his own Dragonite Crusher, but right now he's actually sitting in a very, very tough situation.
And Leeu has his own Fire Blast.
But I think at this stage, Leeu is just so far ahead.
Time, yeah.
I think he's just so far ahead at this stage, and I don't see a way that Gas can really come back from this.
I think Gas has to play his Draconoid Crusher here as just a 6/6. So if he pings the Fierce Monkey and then uses either the weapon or the Fairy Dragon, you can also trade off the other 3/2 then with the remaining one of those 2, and you can have his 6/6 versus the 1/3. It's kind of the best board he can hope for, I think. Unfortunately, there is an execute to match it, but I think Leeu would probably more likely just go for the Rag because it's only a 6/6, so it'll die straight to the Rag. Or if the Rag hits face, he's pretty much setting up a position where he's going to have lethal in the next turn or so.
Yeah. So Gas is going to go with that line of play. Anyway, Draconite Crusher coming down. Fortunately not getting the activator, but right now at this stage, it's just so much damage that Leeu has been able to pick up. He's been able to stabilize, and he's really sitting so dominantly in this position. I mean, do you just go for Rag? Because you basically set him up to either a one-turn clock, or you clear the board, and...
Yeah.
Again, you're just putting so much pressure.
I think especially after drawing the Corcoran, I would 100% play Rag here. There's a lot of ways he can get out of this Blackwing, but there's no way he can get out of the Rag, really. Like, if the Rag hits the 6/6, then he has no way to easily activate the Execute. If the Rag hits the face, then you put him on 2, and you have a Corcoran in hand, so you have like guaranteed lethal the next turn if he doesn't taunt. And the only taunt in the deck is so Gas is only playing 1 Fierce Monkey, so the Fierce Monkey, the Twilight Guardian, and the Curator. But even beyond that, if he's on 2, you can just hero power him down over 2 turns, like even if he does taunt.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of that line from Leeu. I think he might still be able to win here, but this might be the kind of punish that Gas is looking for. I mean, the Rag plus the Execute this turn is pretty good. If it hits the 1/1 though, Gas might stand a chance here because then his Rag can snipe out his opponent's Rag. Okay, that's not ideal, but he's probably still going to go for the Rag sniping the Rag. Both golden Rags, so at least it's a fair fight.
I think it's a fair fight. Let's definitely hope that something does actually You know, Gas needs to go pretty much for this 50-50. Or
Yeah, I mean, so if he plays the Draconoid Crusher here as well, it is a 9/9 now, because he's managed to activate it with the Nzof's first mate. So now he's made it such that he can. It's difficult for Leeu to actually like guarantee that he clears the minion because he could hit the 9/9, which would be pretty bad. We do see though that Leeu has Korkron and I believe so the Korkron, and then he can War Axe and ping the 1/1 and trade the Alexstrasza's champion into the 9/9 and set up a position where it's like pretty much also like sort of a guaranteed chance of either hitting him in the face and setting up lethal for the next turn, or you can just take the 50-50 for lethal this turn if he chooses. But I think he's definitely going to want to ping the 1/1 here. Yeah. And then I don't really like this because he's just taken a 50-50 to lose the game. If this hits the 9/9, then there's a decent chance Gas can win. Yeah, I think that was a big misplay. Leu's really not maximizing his odds here. I think from Gas's perspective, he just goes face with the 9/9 and plays the Ragnaros and prays basically.
Hopes for the 1 in 3.
Yeah.
Come on, Rag.
I mean, this would be a huge punish for Leeu, but like,
Come on,
it's
Rag.
really not something that he
Do
should
it,
have
Rag.
done.
1 in 3.
I'm pretty sure right now Gas is praying. Like I've seen Gas. He gets very excited during games. So I'm pretty sure now he's shouting at his computer and shouting at his Rag.
So if we hear
screams, he even pings his fate. Sudoku for the Rag. Everything for my Rag, I think he says.
Yeah.
And
By
where
my
is
Rag.
this Rag going to go?
No!
Oh, hits the other Rag, which is not enough to win the game, but worth a try. And Leeu not punished for that. For like, I think quite a few misplays in this matchup, to be honest.
Yeah.
But Gas is still in a good position. He has the Hunter and his Warlock. The Warlock is not great against the Warrior, so I expect to just see the Hunter next, which is favored against the Warrior.
How could you, Rag? You betrayed Rag. Like the 1 in 3, and I don't feel that should actually tilt Rag in any way. I don't feel that should tilt Gas in any way.
No, I mean, the turn before he got the 50-50 to survive. So, you know, he needed to win a 50-50 and then win a 1 in 3. So it would have been lucky of him to get out of that, but I actually feel it would have been like deserved luck because Leeu made the chance there for him to lose that game that he shouldn't have.
Yeah. So we're now going into Dragon Warrior versus, again, Secret Hunter. Is Gas keeping his entire hand?
It looks like it. I understand the quick shot. He wants to deal with the Alexstrasza's champion on 2. Leeu could punish him by just playing War Axe on 2 and then making it awkward for Gas if he foresees this. But he can also, just play the coin Alexstrasza's champion on 1, which is sort of the kind of curve that you dream of as a Dragon Warrior. So a little bit hard for him to turn down.
This is the dream. All right, so we're going to see the quick shot, just get rid of the Alexstrasza's champion, just trying to keep the board clear. Leeu does have an option of just going down with the War Axe. So, you know...
Yeah. I mean, this is the curve he planned out, so you go for it. It's definitely right. Doesn't matter how much your secrets cost if you can't have 2 of the same ones up, so... this is a little bit awkward with double explosive trap here, yeah. You have to wonder what does Leeu think this trap is? If he believes it to be freezing, I think you just probably play the Fiery War Axe. Snipe is the concern for him. By attacking first, he checks that it is not Snake Trap, which there's only one of in Gas's list, so not that concerning. But yeah, we see it's pretty big though there that he did choose to
high main.
Oh,
it's Rag!
Rag is back to get his vengeance. Now he goes to face.
Oh man, now he decides to go face. What are you doing, Rag?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's still a huge blowout for Gas. Rag is really the top end of his deck, at least in terms of minions. Um, so yeah, it's pretty big that he got the Barnes into Rag there. And Leeu really has nowhere to deal with this. Oh right,
I
Rag
don't
is
think
one
his
line. Never
trades were
mind.
really that great there.
Yeah, uh, I think it's okay that he traded the weapon into the minion, but he is going to be in a pretty tricky position here. He's really going to need this Ravaging Ghoul to do like a lot of damage in order to get him through here.
Ravaging Ghoul?
I mean, not Ravaging Ghoul, sorry, Frothing Berserker.
Oh man.
Ravaging Ghoul would be pretty nice, but it's not nice enough. Yeah, Ravaging Ghoul would at least give him something to play with as hero power, which is kind of what he wants to do. That's how I mean it would be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
he might still be concerned that there's this bear trap. Gast has one bear trap and double explosive in his deck. Doing a good job of not activating this trap. He doesn't know, but it's definitely helping him because Gas is unable to play his second explosive.
yeah, but I mean there is still now that freezing trap which has been picked up. So now you have one of two
Yeah,
choices.
you just play the high main here though. Like, even though it doesn't feel good playing the high main into the 8-1, okay, maybe you just play the freezing trap and hero power because it guarantees you more charges on your bow. But like, it's really tempting to play high main. Like, he can trade the 8-1 into it and then the 4-4 into the 2-2. But like, even if you just get a 2-2 off the high main, it doesn't feel that bad.
Yeah. And again, it's a pity that execute is not one because if it was, Blackwing Corruptor,
Well,
execute,
yeah.
trade, clear board, pretty much.
Yeah, but you can clear board here anyway with the Blackwing Corruptor. You trade the 8-1 in, then you kill the 4-4,
Yeah.
trades into one of the 2-2s, and then you Blackwing Corruptor the other 2-2. So it's actually a pretty good
Board
position
clear
for
either
Leeu.
way.
Yeah, making a good recovery and punishing Gas a little bit for playing the high main. But his hand was quite awkward. I mean, just to play a freezing trap and hero power would have been tricky. Ooh, and he goes for the a face attack. I'm not sure about that, considering he has now put himself in like range of a few outs. Um, he does know that Leeu is running. Oh, no, sorry. He does know that Gas is running no kill commands, I believe. So yeah, he's only running quick shots for like burn from hand.
So
But
now
he
just
still
the
gets
explosive and the freezing. And I mean, here
yeah,
again, there's 5 damage, or 7 damage going face. And I
yeah,
think
yeah.
this is going to mean that Gas, I don't see any way out of this at all.
I really don't like that attack to face that Leeu did. He cost himself 4 damage more. And even more than that, because he made the clock really quicker, or even quicker for Gas, because he gave him an extra charge of the bow immediately. Like, if he trades into the 2-2, sure, he keeps his Zodiac's going to die eventually when he eventually attacks face, but he takes like 5 less damage, and he might be able to stabilize with his really valuable like hand at the moment.
Yeah. And I don't see a way that
Oh,
you can
I mean,
actually
this is
escape
also
this.
wrong. He should have attacked with the 1-1 first because it could have gotten frozen, but it doesn't matter in the end because there's nothing he can actually do to armor up above the 5 damage that Gas has on board, really, with just the Eagle Horn bow and the hero power.
Yeah. And I think that Leeu may realize it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. He's just playing it out, I think, but he's probably counting the damage now and realizing now it's even like now it's just hero power.
Yeah, this is just hero power for the out, and this does mean that Gas is going to be going through to the final of the Telkom 2 Gaming Championship at Rage with a 3-1 win over Leeu and guaranteeing himself at least second prize, which is
Yeah.
4,500 rand. I mean,
Which will
that's
definitely cover his traveling costs from Newcastle. So
Newcastle. I don't even know if people live there. I'm
well,
sorry,
he does. I mean,
that's
hey,
horrible.
as it looks now, our next DGC champion could be from Newcastle. So
This is also very true.
yes, hype.
I didn't even know that there was, Hearthstone players in such a small town, or yet they even
I
have
mean,
internet.
I think he has to go to Durban to play in many of the firesides, but I think that's the closest place for him, probably.
Yeah, it's the closest place for him, and I think he needs to go to Durban as well to play Hearthstone.
But I
So
mean, he's shown a lot of commitment going to a lot of events, coming to Cape Town, coming to Joburg for the prelims before this, and obviously going to Durban for other events there. So, you know, it's really rewarding. And I know he gets very emotional when he plays. I remember playing in the same room as him for the Tavern Heroes when it was in Cape Town,
yeah.
and he was like screaming and shouting at his computer. It's fun to watch as a spectator, but I mean, it could have definitely been a bit unnerving for Leeu if he was on the other end of that.
Don't you? You know what I really wish was happening at some stage was that um, Liu or Gas was say or at like the last call championship where he's sitting across his person, South African, and he goes mad at the screen. Imagine what the person right across you must feel. Surely they must be a little bit intimidating.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think he does it to intimidate. I think he just does it because he gets passionate about the game. I mean, when I saw him doing it, he was doing it to opponents playing in Europe, so it wasn't like he was doing it to intimidate his opponents at all.
Yeah.
He was just doing it because he was excited to win, and I'm sure he's very excited to make it to the finals now, and hopefully he can calm himself down and sit and get his mind in the right place for tomorrow. Because he's only going to play one game if possibly two if he loses the first game
Yeah.
tomorrow. So where
Yeah.
his opponent's going to have to come up through the lower bracket final first.
Hmm.
So his opponent will kind of be warmed up a bit. So that might be an advantage that they have, but he does have that winners bracket advantage, which is going to
Yeah.
be really, really huge.
Yeah. Basically, just to give people some background with regards to what's happening at the moment, as well as maybe to explain the winner's advantage in case you may not be too familiar with it. Gas has beaten Liu, who is now into the grand finals, which is happening tomorrow at 11, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Now,
Yeah.
I think it's at 11, unless these players decide to continue playing earlier, which is what
I
they've
doubt
decided.
it, but we'll see.
I think they'll most likely just continue playing straight after each other. Just so you guys also know, tomorrow's games start off at 9 o'clock, where we have the loser bracket finals, or pretty much the semi-final, however you really want to look at it. Currently, fighting for that loser bracket final is Bloodsloth and Sliders. Bloodsloth was able to knock Self-Wimit out 3-1. So
Okay.
the winner of those two between Bloodsloth and Slider, the loser is guaranteed at least fourth. Um, the winner of those is guaranteed at least third. The winner will
Yeah.
then play Liu. All right. The person, whoever wins between Liu and his opponent will then go through to the final. Now, because Gas has not lost a game in this double elimination, that's where the winner's advantage comes in, where if he does lose the first best of five, his winner's advantage kicks in, where they'll play another best of five, uh, potential different bands and everything as well.
Yeah. So the winners
Mm.
bracket advantage is pretty big. And yeah, I think we're gonna have one more game today,
No,
being the
both.
last round of the road bracket,
I
or are
don't
we
know.
done for the day?
I think that they are busy playing at
Because
the moment.
okay, they already started. Okay, then we're running a bit ahead of schedule today,
Yeah,
so not as many games.
which is fantastic, actually, guys. If you give me a second, I'm going to try and show you guys the bracket.
Yeah, so that hopefully makes a bit more sense.
Yeah. I'm going
I'll
to
post the
hopefully.
link to it in the chat as well, so people can have a look.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Oh wow. Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
So you
Mackie
guys
Boy
can
beat
see.
me to it. Damn you, Mackie Boy.
Okay, so that everybody, you guys can see the stage, pretty much how it's gone. Um, yeah, you can see Leo and Self-Mode. Just let me put my OBS onto the other side, otherwise you guys are going to be like, ah. All right, so here we go. This is what it looks like at the moment. Let's just give a quick refresh. Hopefully something happens. More details. Okay, so here we go. Just to basically detail what has happened. Gas has now beaten Leeu in this game here, right? Who's now gone through into the final. He still has not dropped down into the lower bracket, meaning he does have that winner's advantage going forward. All right. So Bloodsloth, who's now through and challenging Slider. As soon as that game happens, the winner of that will be playing tomorrow. Leeu and Gas are both done for today. They will not be playing any more games. So, well, according to the schedule, unless they decide that they're still fresh and ready to go. So the winner of the Bloodsloth Slider game will then face off against Leeu. The winner of that then goes off to face against Gas. And if Gas wins, he wins outright. If he loses, because he has not dropped into the lower bracket in the double elimination format, he does get the winner's advantage, where he will be able to fight again and potentially have a second chance at claiming the DGC title. So basically, he's got 2 tries at it.
Yeah, and that's going to be a pretty big advantage for him. I think his lineup is generally just relatively consistent. So if he can just get 2 shots at it, then it should be a pretty good chance for him.
Yeah, exactly. So, guys, we're not too sure. I think this is the last game that's going to be casted today.
Yeah, it looks like the Bloodsloth game hasn't started yet, but we'll find out. Just follow us on Twitter, and then you'll find out if it's up.
So if you
gonna be
guys
another game or not.
have not followed us on Twitter just yet, you need to please do so at the Penguin ZA and at dib_gaming. Please give us a follow on Twitter. We'll be able to keep you updated on everything. So yeah, there's some shameless plugs. Feels bad, man.
Hey, I'm the one saying shameless plugs.
Okay. All right, guys. So you can also just throw mine in there at the Penguin ZA. Thank you very much, Dib. You are an absolute champion. So yeah, guys, stick around. We will let you know if there's going to be another game casted. If not, we will see you tomorrow morning. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in a little bit. All right.
Cheers, peeps.
See you guys.